Hello everybody, Straders103 here today with another replay analysis. Today we're looking at Muchos Gracias. So first of all, many thanks for sending in this replay. I've had a look at the post-battle results screens before I started looking at the replay, but this is the first time I've looked at the replay. Anyways, let's have a quick look at the matchmaking. Hiryu versus Hiryu. We have a double Tirpitz, double Bismarck. They have a double Tirpitz, Bismarck, and a Amagi. On top of that, Shanhos Nagato. Both teams get a tier 9 cruiser. We get a Baltimore, they get a Aeroon. On top of that, most of the rest is tier 8. Mogami Kutusov, Atago. They get a Pensacola on top. We get a Whisker for that ship instead. Fubuki Tashkent versus Benson and Fubuki. Certainly an interesting split of destroyers. However, with a carrier, that's usually not too bad on this map. Especially as it's reasonably easy to play. Now, let's click into the battle and have a look at our ship. Tirpitz has 8 main battery guns separated over 4 turrets, 2 barrels each, 38 centimeter guns. They're reasonably powerful, very fast shell trajectory. In terms of anti-aircraft, we're equipped with the German 10.5 centimeters, which give us 4.5 kilometer range. However, they push out some quite solid DPS. So if you take upgrades for those guns, you're really good. Well, you're good to go. You can take down some tier 7 planes, you can take down tier 8 planes, and sometimes you can take down tier 9 planes, given a little bit of time. Otherwise, your heavy autocannon, if you can see on the ship, there really isn't that much heavy autocannon. However, the most important thing that the Tirpitz gets is a torpedo launcher per side. And each torpedo launcher contains basically 4 of the standard German torpedoes. Anyways, we're kicking off this game. We're in a division with Cordell in a Tirpitz and Natsumiku in a Bismarck. So yeah, I don't know. I think I prefer Naomiku, but whatever. We're having equipped with a premium damage control party and a premium heal. No premium float plane, but that's, let's be completely honest, not always that necessary. Although I have 170 million credits, so I really don't care and I use them anyways. I sell Yamato, so we get less than 150,000 damage. Now, we see a bunch of torpedo bombers come in, but we also see that the enemy battleship, the Bismarck over there, doesn't seem too interested in coming in. Now, here's one thing I usually do. If you can see the cursor, I sail a bit out this direction and then back in, and I angle my main guns towards this side of the ship. Now let's just stop this replay here for a moment. Now, for us to be able to fire at this Bismarck right there, we have to be angled with the ship like we currently are. For that Bismarck to be able to fire on us, he has to do the same. But here's the thing, let me take a look at FreeCam. What does it look for our opponent when we're angled like this? Well, for us to be able to fire at, this is the kind of angle that we're exposing in return. What that means is that the ship area, if I can get my mouse cursor, this area here is kind of vulnerable to getting penned. Now, they don't actually have North Carolinas or anything. The guns aren't really the most accurate. It's really just the Amagi we have to worry about. However, if we're angled the other way, we're able to fire our guns because of the fact that our opponent is basically moving further towards the west. Well, this angle that we have now will be slightly reduced to this because of the fact that we have to apply lead to point it at him. And most importantly though for us, once we get back to the ship, is we're not heading further out into the west, which means we can head more and more towards this island, prevent this Tirpitz from being able to fire us, and anything else coming behind from being able to fire at us, and engage this Bismarck in a 1 versus this blob over here, which puts this Bismarck under focus fire, pressures this Bismarck, and allows us to focus him, with him only being able to fire back at whatever's here, and the guys behind unable to fire at us. Anyways, let's put this replay back in, into play. We've launched our flow plane fighter, and our anti-aircraft is dual purpose, is kind of going off here and there. Fubuki spotted. I would probably try to focus that Fubuki because it only has 12,000 health to begin with. And here you see the problem. To be able to fire on the Fubuki, we just have to turn not complete broadside, but we're turning in a poor angle for the Bismarck group. So now the Tirpitz in the back is able to engage us. The Aeroon doesn't, he wants to sit on the corner, so he's not going to be a problem. But these two battleships back on the minimap could potentially start firing on us, and we're the first guy. While not too bad for Tirpitz, you do want to try to mitigate or negate the ability to take as much damage in the beginning, and leave that kind of stuff for slightly later on. Able to find one overpenetration on this Fubuki, but our Whisker seems to be having a bad day, and as you can see, now we have to turn in to be able to angle well against the shell. This is the optimal kind of angle that you want to be at, if you want, to dodge shells and negate damage from incoming enemy shells. And now you can see we're turning back towards the center island, and again, let's pause this here. With the bow actually here and the stern a little bit here, we would be able to fire on anything crossing here. In fact, we could have our bow pointed at the Bismarck and shoot this Benson. Now, the Benson's 12.5 kilometers away, so trying to shoot at that is 50-50 iffy. Even if you know how to lead, but trying to suppress the enemy destroyers, considering both of them are in fact on this flank, can be quite beneficial, especially considering the fact that we've already lost our Fubuki. However, our Tashkent pushes back into it, and now we're using this island to cover ourselves from the Bismarck, which is a pretty good move. And we're already at a very good angle to be able to deflect his ammunition if he sends any back at us, as we send an AP salvo back at him. Chances are it's not going to do too much, but we're not actually spotted, and there you go, it actually all deflected. Or got absorbed. And now it's Cordell in his Tirpitz, along with a Mugami behind, that's going to be soaking all of the attention. Now, the enemy team doesn't seem that interested in trying to make a push either. But with this just stationary Bismarck there, all we really have to do is stay away from his secondary range and get these battleships to load up the HE and spam them down. If he's just going to sit there bow on, well, Bismarck class armor is pretty damn strong. Of course, the other option being this Amagi, who's currently stock. You can see that on the 59,300 health that the ship has. We can just focus that broadside Amagi down. Now, it seems that this Amagi is playing a little bit with speed, and this is where I would have just simply hit 3 to see that to confirm this. And it is also for this reason that I personally suggest you turn off this automatic track target. Let's just stop the reap again. I'm probably going to be doing this a lot, aren't I? Okay, I need to actually... There we go. Now, play speed, and then... Okay, this is actually really annoying, so you just have to bear with me for a moment, please. It's under controls, track lock target. I have it turned off, but it seems that Muchos Gracias has it turned on, and you can see it's giving lead to the target. Whereas with it off, you would, your ship would determine the speed of it. So if you're stationary and your lead indicator, if you want, your marker, and the ship is on the same position, then you know he's traveling at the exact same speed you are. If you're going full speed and the distance between the marker is growing naturally, then you know he's slowing down. Of course, this is a personal preference thing. I'm not going to tell you to go do this. This is the way I like it, and I find it quite handy. It can be a bit of a pain in some destroyers, that where you constantly want to be spamming. And here's one thing. We're being spammed a little bit. I personally... Well, at least we know the torpedo's already coming in. But personally, I do not damage control single fires. I use a heal to counter it. The reason for that is, well, first of all, you never know when torpedoes are going to come, but we're pretty far enough away from the battle already that the chances are, well, we spotted the Fubuki torpedoes, the Benson torpedoes simply wouldn't reach us. And the reason you use heals to counter fires is because, well, you get all the heals, well, you heal all of the fire damage back. So as long as you can feel confident in being able to tank the damage, and at this position I would certainly say we are, it will be fine. Now, having a look at the situation on the map, we can see that the eastern side, there's only one battleship there to prop up 2 + 2 cruisers, and we have another destroyer there. We, on the other hand, aren't really able to get down the west, so we're in a pretty tough situation. Speaking of which, we just deleted pretty much all of that rune. But we haven't been able to pressure their battleships much at all. Their battleships are high health, their destroyers are on this side, the carriers attacking this side, and the Bismarck and Tirpitz in our division seem much more interested in heading to the other side. Now, Bismarcks are pretty bloody fast, but they're not that fast. We did manage to get the Tashkent, managed to get through it. But to be completely honest at this position, with only a Bismarck and their Tirpitz being so far back, I actually would have just gathered up my 2 division mates and pushed this Bismarck out. Since the eastern side is probably struggling, it's much more important to be able to kill off one side and prevent the other side from being able to lock us into a bad position. The Bismarck is so close to the fleet that he should be an easy target to focus down, and oh, that can be actually quite nasty. Now this is a patch game, whatever the hell the number was again. I forgot that off the top of my head. But this is before the actual cyclone indicator. You can see that there is no indicator here to tell you exactly when the cyclone hits. So yeah. Now, cyclones favor the aggressive battleship players, because you can get within 8 kilometers of stuff until you're spotted, which is a great engagement range for you, especially considering the Tirpitz has amazing torpedoes to use, 4 of them per side, just don't get them HE to death. The Bismarck has that 10.6 kilometer secondary range, very powerful. So, being able to take advantage of that is nice. Equally, however, it means that a pushing fleet that stays reasonably close to each other can focus down any isolated stragglers that they find on the way in. Now, we make a little bit of a, in my opinion, poor turn. Personally, well, you can either push A or push D, but the decision had to be made 5 minutes ago, which could become difficult. And now that the Tashkent has, well, he can't really be able to spot anything. The easiest kill is actually the flank on Delta. They are probably the easiest enemies to kill, due to the fact that they do not have destroyer support. Now, choosing between the Bismarck or the broadside Armagi, stock Armagi a lot easier to take down than a Bismarck. Being able to get a couple of citadels on this would be really, really nice. Unfortunately, we can't find one, however. We can see that we do still have a fleet on the bottom left side of the map with a carrier down there. And, well, let's put it like this. The Cyclone's already hitting in now, so that battleship is basically out of the battle. We're also out of the battle for a little bit. We're going to lose another one of our flags, placing us 3 flags down to 1, and we're already over 300 points down. We're down to 4 ships. So, let's see what we can do about this game, shall we? Now, the logical thing to do is simply get in there. We have a Tirpitz, we have a Bismarck. We just need to get in and start killing stuff. Now, unfortunately, Cordell, down in the bottom right, we actually trip a heel here. Cordell in the bottom right of the map, and the battleship that was down there, they're not exactly in the world's best position. They're pretty far out of combat. They need a long time to be able to get back into anything. And, well, in a Cyclone, like I said, the aggressive team is massively favored. And looking at that blob on the minimap, the Fubuki just found a massive aggressive push. However, if you were paying attention to the earlier, you would know that a lot of them are reasonably low HP. So we just simply need to stay close to Natsumiku, and this shouldn't be too bad. However, Natsumiku is starting to take on their fleet. Their Atago just take a massive punishing hit. Coming around, we spot another Atago on pretty much full HP. However, knowing the Tirpitz's main battery, it's pretty troll to try to shoot these things down, even at this kind of range. At least that Atago is firing armor piercing. However, I will be purely focusing on trying to get rid of the Atago on our starboard side, swapping to high explosive shells, which costs us the ability to finish off that Atago. If he torpedoes us, this can be nasty. We're preparing to launch a counter set at the Atago in front of us. This position is definitely very bad for us because we also have a Sharnos behind us, and that thing also has torpedoes. We could potentially end up in a 3-way torpedo jerk. And that's not really that nice for us now, is it? Anyways, armor piercing shells coming back up. Unfortunately, the loss of the 3 and 4 turret to finish off that Atago earlier could be very bad. The Tirpitz has sent torpedoes at us. We see Citadel off, of course, the low HP Atago. The Atago in front of us still has not yet torpedoed. If he's allowed to get any... What the fuck? If he was allowed to get any closer to us, this could have been very nasty for us due to the fact that those torpedoes, they pack a punch. And with only 36,000 health currently burning down, we do use a heal to counter this. And this time we did not put the fire out. We're making a pretty massive overturn. We don't know if he's fired his torpedoes on the... At least he fired them. That's right, this could have been very nasty if that Artigo had just simply tried to YOLO us down, considering the fact that the fleet on the south isn't really able to support us anymore due to the 8 kilometers rule. Unable to finish off the other Artigo who's coming around the corner, probably already having sent torpedoes towards our unfortunate Bismarck, who went down in the end. Chances are that's what happened there. But now, we're taking Delta. We're still a major series of points down. We need to turn around, fight the group behind. Our carrier is still in the game. But we have two battleships down on the southeastern side of the map that's chasing off their last battleship that they brought along from this side. Fubuki needs to hurry up, get to B, lock down B, see if they can find the carrier or not. And, well, we need to get up and prop the western side up, prevent them from taking C. If they capture C, they can be in it for all they want because we're already down on points. They do not gain points from simply sitting inside a flag we own. However, well, we don't gain points either, but that doesn't matter because right now the only way for us to win this is to get B, lock down B, and start killing them off before they gain more points, and ensure we do not lose any more warships to this fight. Now our carrier, there we go, manages to take down the enemy's Bismarck, coming in, a very valuable takedown for our team. Our carrier is still running. He's taking down the battleship that would have spotted him should the cyclone end now, and he's given us the time to get our Fubuki into the Bravo flag. And that's the most important thing here. Now, the enemies aren't yet in sea, and there could be the chance that the destroyers are trying to chase down our Hiryu, which would definitely be a wrong move. But down in the southeastern side, you can see on the mini-map that at least a ram doesn't seem to be occurring there. However, the two battleships that are down there, and let's have a look at the other one, our other Bismarck, so that makes a Tirpitz and a Bismarck, are currently struggling to take down the other ship there. Now, Charlie is locked, so us keeping our guns pointed to Charlie is definitely the right move to make here, so we can be prepared to engage the enemy fleet coming in there. Friendly fighters coming into the spot, but it's a cyclone. You can only spot things within 3 kilometers, and speaking of which, 8 kilometers, enemy Aeroon up, coming in, and this is a very nasty situation for a cruiser to be found, and dive bombers coming in on us as well. However, the fighters are on point, potentially able to defend against us. Now, this is really, really bad. Cordell, our division mate, went down. He did take the other guy down, though, but he went down, and that's a battleship lost. And if the cyclone starts ending, and I would definitely be focusing firing on the Aeroon right now, secondaries, main guns, everything, get rid of a cruiser. If that thing has torpedoes, the Armagi is stopped, he's not that major of a problem. And there we go, Aeroon's down, it's reasonably easy to penetrate. And now we can put our focus secondaries on the Armagi, while the Armagi is still out of range. The friendly torpedo bombers going in, the dive bomber is dropping as well. Hopefully we can get a damage control party trip for our secondaries as the cyclone starts ending, and the Pensacola, who was behind there, gets spotted as well. Now, those of you guys may have noticed we used the heal earlier. Personally, I'm honestly not so sure about using heals in a situation like this, but we know we're going to be fighting, or most probably fighting, a large enemy fleet. I would simply wait for us to get in combat with the fleet and then trigger the heal early so we can get the full health value out of it. We still had a good chunk of health. Thankfully, our friendly fighters were able to prevent this drop from being effective. I would still finish off the Armagi, or at least confirm that the carrier is going to kill him, which he does. And now swap back to the Pensacola, who now without torpedo and battleship support at close range is going to be easy prey. And there we go. 30,920 damage on him. Benson spotted, but he currently seems much more interested in chasing a carrier. In my opinion, a major misplay off the enemy Benson. Secondary is going off on the Pensacola. Got another fire on him. They're constantly hitting him. And our secondaries managed to finish that off, which is amazingly good news for us. The Tirpitz sends a salvo on us. It doesn't seem very well aimed, so he gets 1 penetration and 1 over penetration. And with our main guns currently pointed in this direction, we might as well give the Hiryu some love as well. Now, let's see. Pause. We're currently making a overturn to get our rear turrets pointing at this Tirpitz. We're currently in the health disadvantageous position. He has more health. We have no heals. This, what we see here, is permanent. Now, if we didn't use the other heal earlier, I don't think we would have died. And if the Artigos had YOLO'd us properly, we would be dead, full health or not. So that's a completely irrelevant proposition to think of. Of course, hindsight 2020. However, with this Tirpitz having so much more health than us, we can't really afford to be angle 45 against him, even though he's sailing somewhat reasonably broadside, as you can see. I would personally keep only front guns on the Tirpitz, and this is another benefit of the Bismarck and the German battleships overall. Their turrets have fast rotation, so just simply wait the 30 seconds for these things to point this way, and then start engaging him. Well, we're able to basically keep an angle to fire. We need to be angled like this, which basically means incoming shells are coming in at this angle. This is completely invulnerable. This cannot be lolpen. He's never getting through the deck at this angle. The only thing he can effectively damage is our superstructure. And even that's going to be a little bit iffy considering the angles. If he hits the superstructure on the side, that's blinking off as well. Actually, no, that's going to overmatch, I think. But whatever. We're able to keep a very good angle against the Tirpitz, while he currently is still broadside. And it allows us to keep our bow much more pointed towards him, which means we're much in a better opposition to dodge torpedoes. Anyways, let's play this replay back again. Hiryu, massive Citadel scoring on him. Kraken Unleashed, 5th kill found, 821 points to 756. We're in the advantage. Now, I would personally finish off the Benson. 594 health, enemy Bismarck Tirpitz fires at us, barely managed to score 1 over penetration on us. That was quite lucky. If his dispersion had been slightly better, or if his aim had been slightly better, we could have potentially lost a large amount of health. Now, we focus our secondaries on this Tirpitz. He's turning in a little bit, and ooh, second Fubuki just gets spotted. We get a 15,000 damage hit on him, and this is what I mean exactly with the weakness of the Tirpitz's armor at this kind of engagement. Of course, if that had been an Amagi, chances are we would have gotten Citadel to crap. He fires on us again. Luckily, he doesn't find just a devastating salvo that we managed to find on him. For now, we pretty much just have to run away. The enemy Tirpitz take another devastating AP salvo, and, well, we put another 10,000 on him, and suddenly he's not faring that well. The carrier gets a couple of drops in against him. If he hits 3 torpedoes, he's basically gone. We also have fish in the water. Who's going to reach him first? We manage to reach him first. 2 torpedo hits, 50,000 damage, finishes him off. Unfortunately, just too late to be able to get a prevention of him firing. And here we go, we see Fubuki torpedoes coming in. The Benson sets us on fire. We don't have a damage control party. However, the game's 970 points. We have all 4 of the capture flags. It's only the enemy destroyers left. Fubuki currently spawning on us. If we send a salvo at this Fubuki, we might be able to pressure the Fubuki into smoking, which would mean we go invisible. We're approaching 990 points, 5,800 damage salvo on the Fubuki, 997 points. We just need to survive, and there we go. Battle ending, very tense game, 6 kills in the end. 2 close quarters expert, Dreadnought secured, no fireproof however. Very close game, high caliber definitely, with 250,326 damage, Confederate medal for, well, to be expected taking down that many enemy ships. The surprising thing here being 2 close quarters experts, one of them came off the Pensacola. I'm actually not exactly sure who the other one got. I wasn't paying too much attention, this was such a tense game. 2 torpedo hits scored on the enemy Tirpitz at the end, managing to finish him off. Unfortunately, like I said, not early enough to prevent the enemy's shells from going off. We scored 144 target hits from our secondary battery. A fully secondary spec Tirpitz is definitely not something you want to have too close to your ship, especially not in a weaker cruiser or destroyer. They are very accurate, fast firing, and they will tear your ship apart. And despite this thing that everybody has about German high explosives, me as well, they do actually have a quite solid fire chance on their battleships. Now, we are top on the score list, 4,151 experience with that many medals. The Fubuki behind us, 2,915, unfortunately not able to pick himself over 3,000. The Błyskawica got nothing. Mogami got nothing. The Nagato at the end of it, very low on the scoreboard. I am not exactly sure where he was. I think he might have been the guy that was with Cordell down in the bottom corner. No, he was a Nagato on the bottom left side of the map. He was pretty far out of the position. The cyclone caught him and put him out of position. Our friendly Hiryu underneath the Fubuki, he was instrumental to this game, taking down an enemy Bismarck. That's the Bismarck on the top of their team. Takes him down before he manages to get too close to cause any more havoc. And most importantly, it gives us enough time for this Fubuki to get around, capture the enemy's spawning, capture, take down the enemy carrier with a little bit of, well actually, we take the carrier down, but the That was a very important move. He got the 2 remaining flags, securing us all 4 flags, and we started picking off the enemy teams one by one, catching them out in poor positions. And like I said, Cyclones favor the aggressive battleship push. They actually screw cruisers over pretty hard. Having a look at the detailed report, we managed to pick up 60,650 damage on the Rune. We were pretty much the one to completely shred this guy. Double Citadel early in the game, leaving him on 10,000. He heals it back up to 20,000, giving us more damage to farm off. One of the Tirpitz is 44,757 damage. Otago, 34,000 damage. We really needed to pick up that kill on the other side, along with a guy on 4,991 that we managed to pick up. In my opinion, we should have finished him without swapping the high explosives with our rear turrets just to get him out of there. Although at that time, he would have already had the ability to torpedo us if they were loaded on that side. I don't believe they were, because they were probably sent towards our division mate. And yeah, finishing off the video, while maybe not instrumental, but it certainly gave us a slight points advantage in the event that we could have been unlucky enough to lose a ship there. However, having a look at this game, in my opinion, we dawdled away a lot of time on the western side. We spent a bit of time in the Cyclone, out of position, with nothing to fire at. Now, you can argue whether or not simply killing off the stuff on A would be the better move, through the use of the Cyclone, or trying to kill off, well, the western side that is, or trying to kill off the stuff on D. However, in my opinion, if it had gone towards D earlier, that would have probably been a little bit better, because the D side was the weaker enemy side. And being able to commit 3 fully loaded battleships on pretty good health into a fight against stuff like Scharnhorsts and, well, to an extent, cruisers, provided we don't have to get too close and torpedo us, can be a very good thing to do. Now, other than that, your gameplay was amazing. It was amazing to watch. It was very tense in the end as well. The points going well over 900. The loss of a ship in a bad position there would have meant an instantaneous loss. I am muchos gracias for you sending in this replay. Pardon my poor... what would that be, Spanish? But I hope you enjoyed it. And, well, I guess I'll catch you in the next one. By the way, I'm pretty sure this one's already on Aeroon's channel, but hey, what the fuck, whatever. Thank you guys for watching, and take good care.